What is good, beautiful fuckers? We're here on this marvelous day. It's a grand day, if you ask me. I'm here with two amazing young people. I know you see them in the squares there, or I guess his will be a rectangle. And this is because we are talking about some big business here. We're going to educate you on their journey, their path. We're going to teach you how they made some money, and we're going to teach you about, yes, AMC. It is alive. It is alive. I'm gonna let them tell you what status it's in. But I need y'all to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also I'm gonna tell you the names of my two fantastic guests. We have Ruby up here, and then we have Jesus, her brother, below. But I'll let them introduce themselves properly. If y'all want to start,
Sure, ladies first, Ruby. I guess you can take the stage.
Hey guys, my name is Ruby Gonzalez, and I go by off the AMC cheerleader off Twitter. So, hey, that's me.
fire.
What's up?
And then
Let's go. Who we got down here? We got my amazing money bags. Let's go, brother.
Like it might have froze. I'm not sure. Chat, can y'all see him? Let me pull it up on my other phone. Let me know if you can see my dog. What's up, Sadia? What's good, Dre? If y'all can't see him, I can remove and then add him back. The bottom is Jesus. We're gonna let him introduce himself, but he might have got a phone call or something.
Oh yeah.
He said he froze. Yeah. Don't trip, he'll call back in. You want to text him just to tell him to just leave and call back in. That's all. We had a StreamYard. If y'all watching this, I'm gonna send this in the feedback. Most of my lives are fire, but just this one, last one too, when we had Miss Nicole, y'all know we had technical difficulty. So, let me pull up her Twitter. Y'all need to follow her on Twitter because she goes crazy on Twitter. Can you type? Does it give you the ability to type, or you want me to type
it? Sorry, are you talking to me?
I don't know why I can't hear her.
Can you hear me?
There goes Jesus. I can hear you now. Jesus is
back. Look at we got. There we go. 2
Where were we?
There we go, money bags. Wait, he's frozen again.
I
think he's back.
Yeah.
It's like a little in between. Yeah, he's straight now.
I'm trying my best with the connection here, but I'm Jesus. I have been a part of the AMC community now since around June is when I really first started getting into it. But a little bit about me. I graduated from Arizona State University with the finance degree in December, so pretty recently here. And I'm also a real estate agent, so that's what I do as a line of work. And I've been investing in the stock market since I'm around 15 years old, believe it or not. So it's been some time. And yeah, I guess what can I say? I love the stock. AMC, GME to the moon.
Hey, damn! So wait, you said you started investing when you were 15?
Yeah, I did. So the story behind that is that
Wait, you can hear him? Can you hear him, or he froze for me?
He actually just froze. Yeah.
Am I back?
Okay, it's coming in. Hold on. There you go.
It keeps getting shorted. You're getting shorted.
I'm live, right?
I can see you, but you're frozen.
Yeah, I don't know why it's freezing. They said he froze. Let me see.
Okay, now.
Okay, I think you're back now.
Okay, right. Sorry, I had lost my train of.
We were talking about you were 15. You were telling us a story how you got started investing when you were 15.
Yeah, crazy. I got put into a virtual stock market trading competition where you're basically given like fake money to trade with when I was in high school, and ended up coming like first, like paper trading. See, I even have the trophy right here. That's what I ended up getting. So at first place in that was like 15 years old, and then after that I just ended up going full time into this thing. And I still remember that day. that this happened. I remember really clearly before the actual competition started, the announcer on the PA said, "Your relationship with money starts today." And those words, they sort of stayed with me since then. And ever since then, I just, I jumped into the rabbit hole. Like, meanwhile, everyone was out playing like football and soccer out and just hanging out with friends. I was in the library fucking looking at charts, trading view pulled up, Yahoo Finance. Back in the days, the Yahoo Finance boards, they're gone now. But yeah, that's basically how I ended up starting. And ever since then, it's been a journey. It's been a rocky journey, but I've enjoyed it. I enjoy the ups and downs. And lately it's been down, but I'd rather be here than not be here. So,
bro, that's crazy ass story. That we're going to see if Ruby was investing at the same age, but that was crazy that you were investing at that young age. So first off, I gotta give a round of applause to your parents or whoever the hell raised you, because kids knowing
the internet,
whatever, whoever influenced you. Did you get your own money to do it?
Yeah. So in the beginning, like when I was 16, I had a part-time job at a retail store, and I would basically just invest whatever I earned, which granted it wasn't much. It was like maybe $300 every 2 weeks or so, but I basically threw it all into the market. I made some successful investments. Like my first grand slam that I guess put me on the map was Bitcoin. So I bought Bitcoin in 2015, not 2015, my bad, 2016. And that sort of allowed me to grow my capital base and expand into other opportunities. And after that, it was just I just went from there. So then in like 2018, I invested in Tesla when everyone was thinking that it was going to go bankrupt. And Tesla ran from around, I want to say like $100 post pre-stock split to, I mean, if you adjust it now for the stock split, it's like $2,000. So that was my second multi-bagger. And now I'm betting on AMC. That's my big investment at the moment. I mainly stay diversified. I don't bet on something big unless I absolutely know something. Like, there's one thing in the market that I know, it's that if you're investing in one industry or one stock in particular, then you better know more than, say, 99% of the general population about that particular company or that industry that you're investing in. Otherwise, you're at a disadvantage relative to, I mean, just name it. There's other capital, competing for the same dollar as you. There are hedge funds that have access to a lot more information than you. There are institutions, I mean, you name it, you're trading against algorithms, retail. There's a retail component in there as well. So you better know your shit. You know what I mean? Anytime that I make a concentrated play, it's because I absolutely know something. And so in 2016, I invested in Bitcoin. And in 2018, I invested in Tesla. And in 2021, I'm investing in AMC. So, if history is any indication, I think that this will be absolutely a grand slam for me and everyone else involved in it.
Oh yeah, I heard you mention a multi-bagger. So you read Peter Lynch?
Yeah, Peter Lynch is awesome. Peter Lynch, and I like the principles behind his investing, but Peter Lynch and I, we differ a lot in the way of our practical investing. Like, for example, one of my favorite books is this one right here. I don't know if you've read this. This is The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in my Audible. I don't think so.
This is a classic. This book was written years and years ago. The market dynamics have changed considerably since.
Oh man, he froze again.
What's that? What's the name of the book?
The Intelligent Investor.
Yeah, that's hard. I need that. Yeah, I think that might be in my own. I think he's coming back in now.
All right, am I back on?
Yeah.
You're coming in. You're coming in.
Fantastic. I take as with a grain of salt. The principles in the book, but to be honest, for people that are just barely getting into investing in the stock market, these kind of books can do more harm than good. Am I lagging?
Yeah, you're lagging a lot.
I can hear him, but just the picture was
okay.
Like, hey, it's 2:22 on the West Coast. If you are on the West Coast, this is 2:22. And shout out to everybody. Not to cut you off, Brody, but while you get it together, 2:22. I got it pulled up. Today is February 2nd, 22nd, 2022. And for the angel number, it says 222 can be seen as a reminder that you are on the right path, that you're doing the right things in life. This number is also a sign of positivity, good luck, joy. We don't believe in luck, but joy. And it's like the number is trying to show you that you should always focus on the positive side of life and be joyful. So
that right there, it just clearly says how we are in the right side of life. We're in the right path. You know, being here where we're at in life today at this point in AMC, all those invested, this is it. We are on the right path, especially marking it on the most random day. You can say this year will never occur again, where we land February 2nd on the 22nd day of 2022. So not only does this just resonate on the numbers, but it also resonates on the actual era, the actual date of where we stand. So I need all apes in this community to know where we stand, because there's multitudes of us and none of us would be here if it wasn't meant to be. And it's one of those things that I believe in, and I highly believe in, because I believe in God, and I believe this is one of those things that we are in the right path. And that's why I'm here, known as the AMC cheerleader. I'm sorry, don't mean to interrupt you, Jesus, but I just briefly explained who I was, and I wanted to briefly explain you. But I go myself because of the AMC cheerleader, because I highly believe in where we're at. Because I'm such an optimistic person as this, that when I believe in something, I put in my full faith and my optimism, and I cheer that person, whoever that is. And in this way, it's the stock market. It's AMC. You know, for me, I have never been invested in the stock market until a year ago, and for that, I thank my brother for it. Because of him, I am where I'm at. I'm devoted into healthcare. I'm a healthcare professional. I work in mental health and patient psychiatry at Phoenix Children's Hospital. And I deal with little minds there, little kids who are struggling in life. My job there is to give them love, give them hope, give them optimism, and change their mindset. So already it's like, you know, I work in that as a behavioral health therapist. Now, how cool is it that I can relay my positivity into something that I love and have so much passion for and highly believe in, you know, and that to me is AMC. And, you know, I'm not just hyping up a stock because, oh yeah, it's AMC. It seems like a cool thing to do. No, I'm hyping up a stock because of the numbers. And those numbers right there is the ones that my brother can give you. He can give you the exact number of synthetics that we're in. He can tell you about the damn dark pools that are waving all over us. He can tell you about that story. I don't know if any of you have heard. I'm going to give you an amazing explanation of what's going on in the stock market. A lot of people don't know what synthetics are, what dark pools are. None of us really know that. When I got into it, it was so brand new to me. I would ask my brother, explain it to me like I'm 5. And he would try to explain it to me, but I'm honestly hard-headed, and still now I'm still trying to learn. And for me, it's like I love to learn new things. So I put myself out there and I studied the actual stock market. And I even told my brother I wanted to.
Hold on 1 second. I think you said the sound is echoing. Who's echoing? Y'all in the chat. Do y'all hear echoing? Can you hear her? Can you hear us? Can you hear us fine? Let me know. Send an emoji if we're straight. If we good to go and you can hear everybody. Send an
I think
emoji
that was
because
a little echoey. Actually,
maybe I'll mute. Yo.
Sashi,
better.
if you mute yourself while she's talking, I think that's probably why we hear an echo, because it's cut off of your speaker.
Yeah, you were lagging a little bit, Jesus, right now.
Yeah, you're lagging. But let me mute myself. Okay, keep going. Go ahead.
All right. So I was going to explain the story of what's going on in the stock market because a lot of us don't know what synthetics, and I was just giving my explanation on how I was asking my brother to teach me, and he gave me a very hard answer, guys. Like, my brother's just so smart. He's 22 years old, and this kid amazes me. Not just because I'm his sister, but he amazes anybody that he comes in contact with because I honestly believe he has a gift. And I even told him once, it's like God just gave you a treasure map. And there's a treasure map in this world. You just have to know where to find those treasures because they're out there. And to him, I feel like God gave him the actual paths of where the treasure map leads to where he can find the gold. It's just an analogy of how I feel like he just knows where the money is at. And in this case, it's AMC. So this is what's going on in the stock market. And I heard this story from one of my Twitter friends. His name is Bleeding. I want to give him credit for this because he very well explained it to me. And hopefully I got this straight, but this is how it goes. So pretend you're in a desert and you are so thirsty. And in this story, it's like you're so thirsty, but there's a man there and he's selling water bottles, He has a stand and he's going to sell you a water bottle a day. So these water bottles, you don't know what they look like because obviously when you buy it, you're going to buy it for $5, but he's giving you an empty water bottle. But you're so thirsty that you say, damn, I still need water and hope that one day it'll be filled up. Comes to a point where day 2, you buy him another empty water bottle, $5. You buy another empty water bottle the next day, which is another $5. And it comes to a point where you just buy all these empty water bottles from him and you're just so mad at this point because they're freaking empty and you're dying of thirst. And so now you have all these empty bottles, but you still have hope, So then you go back to the man, and not only is he going to sell you empty water bottles at this point, he's also going to sell you empty cups. And these are like cups, it's not real cups. It's not a cup. It's not a bottle anymore. But in this case, it's empty cups. So these are called the synthetics of what the dark pool or what the stock market would then reveal. So he's selling you now those fake cups on top of your empty bottles that you've already had, which is your actual real shares. And he's just at a point where one day he's like, damn, I ran out of my own supply. I need to go back to my fucking buyers because they got all my shares. So at this point, the buyer, us, the apes, we're the shit here. We're holding all your damn empty water bottles and your empty cups. And now you're going to come to me to ask me for those empty water bottles and those empty cups? Well, hell yeah, I'll sell them to you. But guess what? I'm going to sell them to you maybe $1,000. Hey, $2,000, $5,000. No. I'm going to sell this to you to $500,000, even $100,000 because why? That's how much of supply I have behind me. That is, whoa, it's not just me, okay? I got $1,005,000 to 6 other million shareholders behind me owning empty fucking water bottles and empty fucking cups. And each one of us has a huge number that we all represent. My number is different than what my brother is holding. Everyone has a different bottles of sets, different price, different range, different number of shares. So when you put all that together and your buyer comes to you or you're trying to buy that back, not only is he buying it from me, but there's multitudes of others. And I hope that you could all understand that because I'm putting it in the most easiest words. And that's all of us, also known as Adam Aaron's 5 to 6 million shareholders. I forget the actual number, so don't kill me for this, Twitter, because damn, if I don't give my facts straight, some of you just attack me. but 5 to 6 million, okay, roughly, or maybe 10. Who knows? But all of us together owning, even if you own one fucking share, like, you were amazing just for owning one share. Let me tell you, like, you, our baby apes, are the ones that I want you to know that your one little share is going to prevail to 1 million plus if you let it sit. When that number starts going up on that graph and you start seeing, oh shit, today we hit 35. Shit, today we fucking hit 45, you know? My empty bottle is worth $45, my one little empty bottle. But no, I don't want to sell it to him already. Oh yeah, I just don't. And then here he comes again. Well, fuck that. I'm going to dump you down again. Your empty bottle is on negative price. So you're like, okay, that's fine. Put me on negative. I bought it for $5. What, I'm going to be negative, what, 0 at this point? So it comes to that point where then not only is he going to build equity on top of what you have already bought in the past, because those who buy cheap, of course, you're going to rise higher, versus the ones who have bought more expensive, then they're not going to make enough gain until the actual stock comes out of balance. Do we understand that? So once you balance out your average, then that's when you start making gains. So at this point, with what I want to tie into this is what diamond hand apes are. A diamond-handed ape is when they start seeing that price not only start at 100, but then it'll go to 200, $300. We're going to get out of that range where then it will hit the 100,000s or the thousands and then the 100,000s. A lot of those who bought so many shares, so empty bottle cups, they're going to see that their fucking average, they're like, for them, their portfolio must be looking amazingly large, where they'd be like, you know what? I'm done, guys. Like, it was real, got my money. Fuck yeah, go AMC, you know, like those true Americans. Sometimes like those people that are just so with the country and they don't care about anybody else. The fucking 1% people, the ones that just care about their money and not anybody else's. But that's not where we're at. Like, that's not my play here. My play is that my money that I put in as my retirement money, if that money doesn't grow the way that I believe it can grow, then so be it. You know, I will lose that money, as the same as my brother and I have said, so be it. Because we are trying to change what market manipulation is. So manipulation in a market is when literally like they're just tanking the price, they're moving it up and down every single day. That's the current pattern that even happened today. Of course, a lot has to do with what brings down that price. A lot has to do with it, but my priority of AMC and GME is its manipulation, and they use anything that comes at it as an excuse. So yes, we have rumors about, you know, Ukraine and Russia. So they use that to, you know, fluctuate it, because you can move it since it's so heavily shorted. It's just so heavily shorted that he can do whatever he wants with it. Not only that, this man here, we all know who he is. I don't know if I can mention it because it's on YouTube Live, but I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to say his name. But anyway, Satan, he has billions and billions of dollars, and I don't know how he does it, and all the other hedge funds, how they're able to do this every single day that it passes. Because not only is it making it worse for them, they're creating a huge hole, even huge, of where they came out from. Like, it is getting deep to the point where I'm just questioning, like, how much longer can this last? And so going back towards the narrative of the diamond apes, it's us. Once that price could hit over $100,000, that's when the market will shake. That's when Wall Street will say, what the fuck just happened? Never in time has there ever been a history play like this where people buy shares and they don't sell them. Never in time. People, the narrative of the stock market is it's you buy and you sell, you buy, you sell, and you make profits. But never has it been where you're just fucking holding your shares, right, Jesus? Yeah, can you hear me? Am I right or am I wrong? Like, right? You know very well.
There is no historical precedent for what's occurring right now in the stock market. For the first time ever, congregation of retail investors have came together. They've gathered on sub communities like on Reddit and on Twitter, and they've made the collective decision to continue buying and holding one particular security. Well, in this case, two particular securities, AMC and GME. And the reason why I think that this trade is so interesting is because it's fundamentally different from any other play in the stock market out there. I mean, it's never happened before. There are instances where short sellers have been cornered. Like one instance that I could easily refer to is the Piggly Wiggly's example. Sash, are you familiar with Piggly Wiggly's? What happened to the stock market back in like the 1920s?
With Piggly Wiggly specifically, no.
Yeah, so Piggly Wiggly's is a grocery store.
On YouTube, you could link that below.
Yeah, so I'll just briefly give a description of what happened. Piggly Wiggly's is a grocery store mainly out in the East Coast. So if you live on the West Coast, you probably never heard of it like me. I've never seen one, but I'm familiar with the story. Anyway, the guy that was running Piggly Wiggly's, he is basically responsible for pioneering the modern grocery store, if you will. Like, you go to the grocery store nowadays and you take things for granted. Like you go to the store, you shop for your things, you put them in your basket, and you pay at the cashier. Well, all of that stuff he pioneered, and his business was really successful, so much so that he listed it on the New York Stock Exchange. And for some time things were going well. Everything was going well, but there were rumors that he was closing some stores. And word got around on Wall Street and people started shorting his stock. Well, the funny thing is that these weren't even his stores that were closing. They were actually franchises, because he was also franchising the Piggly Wiggly's brand. And I guess rumor got out that some of the franchisees were having a difficult period in their business, and people started building short positions against Piggly Wiggly's on Wall Street. Well, what the owner did once he heard about that, he got incredibly angry. He decided that he would take out a business loan for like $10 million, which, by the way, today inflation adjusted is something like $200 million. So like $140 million probably. So a significant amount of money. And what he decided to do is he decided to buy his own stock. He cornered the market, much like the AMC apes and the GME apes are today. And it sucks because he never actually ended up getting the happy ending that he wanted. The stock exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, ended up changing their rules last minute. And they basically allowed all of the short sellers a couple of days. So they froze the ticker and they allowed them to reallocate their positions and to find shares and everything. Otherwise, it would have been a complete disaster for the short sellers.
Yeah, that's a great example. I mean, a great example for back in the day. A recent example was also back in 2008, the whole Michael Burry with the market, how it crashed on the housing. The housing market crashed back in 2008, and Michael Burry was one to discover that Big Short. And that movie, I don't know if any of you have seen it, but if you haven't, definitely recommend The Big Short as to a current event that is now relating towards what AMC, what the mother of all short squeezes actually signifies. So in this movie, it shows that nobody believes him that the stock market is going to be crashing. And of course, I feel like that's kind of where we're at. Nobody believes the apes. We keep saying that the price isn't real, the price is fake. We are there and we are not going to sell until we hit the actual mark of what would be living. So it's going to be hard because psychologically, it's everybody's money. We're all invested into this because it's money. At one point, we want it to succeed, and then the other point, greed will take over. But it's really holding on to changing that, to changing the manipulation again, and to be able to become something in history. Because just as, the thing here with Michael Burry, he believed in it and he stood strong. And that's what I need the apes to believe in. They need to believe in the actual numbers. They need to go back and realize that it's all of us that we're holding together. That's why we say hashtag apes together strong. So there is this apes together strong when I keep seeing, I understand the point of selling and trying to take gains from it. I understand that. My brother explained it to me. I've heard it from multiple peoples. They're not wrong. It is. If you're gonna call it a money play, that's where the money is. It's a money play. You take in and you take out. You let profit in. You let the price rise. You fucking take another gain. You pull 1 share, 2 shares out of each bracket set that you set. It's a cool thing actually, where you can see your gains coming in instead of just holding and holding and holding, because obviously those who are holding are going to lose, but they won't lose, because if we all stood together, then we could actually believe in each other and have faith amongst one another, that even if I don't know who you are, Session, which I'm sure you own AMC shares, I will believe in you to stay with me till the end. It's about holding together as a group, as a community. Aren't we called the AMC apes for a reason, guys? Like, aren't we? Or are we just here for the money? Because if it is, then you're in the wrong community. You may want to build another community called AMC up to $500, $300 per share. How about you build your own community and stay away from the freaking diamond-handed apes? Because today I'm not wearing this t-shirt that also the Wolf of Wall Street believed in. So I need you all to understand what a diamond-handed ape really, truly means. It doesn't mean that you're going to sell short and forget about what we're doing. What we're doing here is changing market manipulation, trying to change the stock market, trying to change Wall Street, because it is not fucking fair that I bust my ass where I work every single day. Plus, I'm going to nursing school. Like, just imagine how busy my life is. I have had no life lately, and yet I'm working so hard, and I'm putting all my money into this stock to be hopeful and to believe that, hell yeah, my money's going to grow and it's going to change, because I believed in it so much that it is because of my faith that I am now rich, that I am now a millionaire, that I am now blessed, because God has given us that treasure, that map. So we know, if we had a blueprint, we know exactly where our X is. We exactly know what to do. There's going to be other paths along that blueprint, and it's going to tell you, you can take this path for $1 million, or you can take this path for $2 million. But the path that I'm taking is up to $100,000. And I just want everybody to believe this, because we are in it by faith, and we're in it by optimism, and we're in it for a change. And if we all hold on to those words, and if we all believe in them, you can believe that AMC is worth 100,000, 500,000. That's why today on my Twitter, I was so adamant about saying that positivity out there and declaring it, that we are all together strong. And if we all really believe in that hashtag, I believe in AMC 100K, then we're going to win, guys. We're going to change the market. We're going to change the way the USA has been running, because it's not just me. There's the 6 million of you guys that if we are all in this together, we can really do it. That is why I'm the AMC cheerleader. That's me. I'm fucking optimistic as fuck. And when it comes to my own life, and excuse me for cussing, but I am very passionate when it comes to what I believe in. When I believe in something, I go with it at full force, and I will not give up, and I will try every single avenue until I know that I did my absolute best into getting that. Now, if it comes to a point where it says it's just you tried your best and you tried, then, I would be happy with that. But that's exactly why I'm here. I'm here to hold for 500, and I'm here to change market manipulation, as was stated on the New York Times that my brother and I got into. We were blessed enough to, all of a sudden, opportunities are just coming. And a lady from New York Times, her name is Tara, I believe. I don't remember her last name, but I did link her on my Twitter, my handle. And she was kind enough to approach me. And sorry, Session, I don't know if you want me to get into the next part of the story. I'm just going off on a speech here. Did we lose my brother?
Yeah, let me kind of segue and jump in here. Yeah, a lot of good information. I'm sure he'll call back in a moment. But let me just add some insight here. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of good insight. We got a lot of comments. Yeah, her Twitter is right here on the screen. If anybody wants to go follow her, check her out. Yeah, they've been doing a lot. We got some more questions we're going to go through, but just want to tap in and say, we definitely appreciate your message on my channel. Y'all know what I preach, but the purpose of this video was for these two amazing young people to speak their message. So some of our ideas overlap and some of them, are different, but it's very important that we hear different perspectives like this. And, we're able to see young people talking about money, regardless of how much profit you decide to take. It's good to have these conversations with men and women talking about actual money, stock markets, and investments. This is how you create generational wealth and change poverty in our families, as y'all know. So we're going to go to some of the next questions. Did you want to text your brother? Maybe he had a call or something. See what happened to him.
Yeah. Sorry. Excuse me.
Let me see. It said the speech got him fired up. You did a good job talking.
Oh, thank you. I'll start back once my brother is in, so we can speak about the New York Times story, because that has a lot of great information to know over why I'm here.
So in the meantime, we can ask you what. Well, I'll say that from when your brother comes. What are two things people are unaware of about crypto or stocks?
Well, obviously, crypto is the Red Sea right now. It is so, oh my God, it's been tanking hard. I hadn't seen it at the all-time lowest with Bitcoin. Literally almost, I think it was 35,000. And Ethereum down at almost 2,300, if I saw that correctly earlier. But it honestly has a lot to do with the outside sources coming in, inflation, everything, the whole war rumors. People are scared, people are selling. A lot of sentiment has to do around with crypto as well. So the cryptos that I feel are worthy to be part of is obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum, because those are like, your government money. And that's kind of where I base off my crypto. And of course the meme coins, which are cool, Shave and I believe Dodge, but I don't know any others. Just I know the important ones. Bitcoin and Ethereum, those are the top two that I see as part of what fluctuates the liquidity of the market. I literally look at those two. Sorry, I'm getting a text from my brother. He is having troubles. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Y'all can hear me straight in the audio? Can y'all hear me in the audio?
With the link, please, if you could provide me with the link.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Link.
Thank you.
I'll just post it here in the chat. It's the same link that he clicked before. It's showing me. I'm going to email it to him, though.
Okay.
Yeah, you two are good on audio. From software engineers' perspective, I think Ethereum is more reliable and more promising long-term than Bitcoin right now. Okay. Either way, they're both still very useful. We can hear you. Cool. Okay, cool. So her brother is now back. So what we're going to do now is dive into some of the other questions we got, people. So make sure y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We've running it up. Their links are already in the description, but within the next couple hours after we post this, I'm gonna edit everybody's shit, make sure we get all the proper links, everything you need up there. But make sure you follow these two for sure. So I wanted to dive in and jump into the question about the New York Times article. But before we go, I want to let y'all know, if y'all want that article, like if you're going to try to read it like how I did, go through Twitter, but use your mobile device. You can actually read the whole article. If you go through any other way, it's going to like pop up like you have to buy New York Times or some shit. So go through mobile, your phone, and go to Twitter and read their New York Times article. It's super dope. But yeah, y'all go ahead.
All right, I'm back.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you start.
Sorry, I just joined in. What were you guys talking about?
So I'll fill you in. How we started with the New York Times, and remember I called you all of a sudden out of the blue, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I told you, brother,
Yeah.
they want us they want to take a story of us," and I said that I would rather wanted you having the story because you were just so much more savvy when it comes to the market, and she said, "No, I want." She goes, "Well, how about I get both of you in there?" She goes, "And you and your brother, we can do like a brother sister thing. And I just want to know, like, what the heck is going on?" She said, "What is going on?" And obviously, she says, "I hear a lot of rumors and speculation." So she goes, I honestly just want to know," she said. And to me, like, there's a lot of like reporters out there, especially in Twitter, who are just trying to bash down on the stock or maybe put in a story and then they'll twist the whole narrative into something completely different that was said. So coming into it, I was nervous and I asked my brother, I'm like, "What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea?" And so he got to speak to her for over an hour as well as I did. And we kind of both felt like she was honest and she was a genuine person. Like I said, her name was Tara Bernard. Was it, Jesus? Tara Bernard? I think that was her name.
Yeah.
And she was just immediate about getting it out there the weekend of. So this happened on a Tuesday. Wednesday, she gets our stories. Thursday, she flies out her photographer from New York so she can get photos of us. And the cool thing is that she said, "Where do you guys want a photo?" And tell them what you said, Jesus. Oh, he's mute. Hello?
Of the AMC theaters at Westgate.
Did you guys hear that? I barely heard you.
Is it coming through clearly? Because
yeah, now you're good. Yeah. So sorry, I didn't hear, but I think you said about taking the pictures in AMC Westgate, right?
He dropped. He's going to add himself back in. He's just buffering
Oh,
back in. But yeah, he said he said the AMC Westgate. We heard him. But
okay.
he's gonna load back in.
Okay. I'll continue slowly towards the story. So we meet up at AMC Westgate. We're from Arizona, Phoenix. And that is our coolest, like, we love going to that area because of the theater itself, obviously. And we thought it'd be so cool to literally take pictures right in front of AMC. And the lady was just so cool about it. She's like, "Yeah, of course, anywhere you want. If you want GameStop, we can go do GameStop." Like, no, let's just stick to AMC. That's where we decided to concentrate on. Because more than anything, like I'm supportive of both stocks as well, but I have more shares in my AMC, and of course GME. It's a beast in its own. Both stocks are everything, and I'm glad that we were able to link in both stories of what AMC is and GME also in that article. That it talks about different stories of different individuals, just as myself, over what they went through and their life story and how they believe that they're in the mother of all short squeezes. So the cool thing is that we all believe the same thing. We all want the same thing, and we are here all to win. So with my brother and I, we were able to get the story out and really just convey that into speaking up to what we believe in the stock. And I thought it was just the coolest thing to be able for me to quote on a New York Times article that I want to change market manipulation. It is now my it's like when you see quotes online and you see things like, oh, that's awesome what that person said. I love that my statement is on there, that I want to change market manipulation / Ruby Gonzalez, because I am so optimistic into what I believe in, into what my brother also believes in. I wish I had his little section pulled up so I can say exactly what he said, which was truly phenomenally, like, just incredible what he said. Let me try to pull it up really quick just because I really want to quote him. 1 second. So here he is. So this is what my brother said towards in the New York Times, like why it was important. And literally, we told a lady so many things. And, there was a phone call of over 2 hours for her to just summarize all that into the little words that, for her, as an outsider looking in, she doesn't really know over the play that we stand, until she decided to what was important is what she actually put on this article. For her, she felt like the most important thing was, of course, market manipulation. And as where she went with my brother, where he says AMC and GameStop are different from any other play in the stock market. We have never seen a congregation of retail investors who have collectively came together on the internet and formed the largest, most powerful decentralized hedge fund in the world. Now, do you guys understand what those words mean? We are the most powerful decentralized. We're going to end that most decentralized hedge fund in the world. That's what we're going to do. And that's what my brother stated into that. So to me, it's so cool that she loved that certain things that we were telling her into the story. It's like she only picked tits and pieces, because that's how a journalist's minds work. They only want to talk about the important stuff. And I am so happy to be able to put that in the world and to let everybody know that whoever is invested in AMC and GME, that you are in the right path, and that your money will definitely, it will grow. We're here to win, and we're going to win. We're all going to become millionaires. We're all going to be so rich, because we're going to be in here until we get there. A lot of us will even become billionaires at this point, but we're in the most amazing place in where we're at in life. And that's why I'm so strong and convicted towards where this money's at. I wish I had my brother back in so he can talk more about the numbers and the realness of the stock, since that's actually kind of what matters here, over to why the New York Times made it in the first place. Why is there people talking about it? We need to talk about the actual numbers that are there,
It's all good. We'll get y'all on the part 2. You know what I'm saying? That just means we might have to get a part 2. But in the meantime, we could still go to some other dope questions while he loads in. Let's see here. When did you first invest in AMC, and was that your first investment?
Yeah, actually, well, I was invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum prior, and as well as other AI stem cell research type of stocks, because I'm more into, like I said, the more medical perspective into it, until my brother then told me about AMC and GME, which are more for the retail investor. So at this point, I ended up switching my money that I had in this stocks, and I ended up buying into AMC and GME, putting into that, but I still left my crypto as was, just because it's going to be the new financial money coming up. So I left that sitting there, and of course now it's negative, but I'm being hopeful. Being hopeful, and it's going to come up. It's just one of those things. But yeah, I started in, I believe it was March. So coming up actually next month was when I got into AMC and GME. Was when I was just completely didn't even know what was going on. I knew, but didn't really know until now, where being part of the ape community, just drills it in my head into seeing so many different numbers. Some of these numbers are just like incredibly huge of what the synthetic number is for the day, or what the actual shareholder short short interest, or it's just insane. The data and everything is what powers up that drive over not just me cheering for nothing. It's because I'm looking at those numbers. There's what was it? I believe it was 21% short interest on the Ortex today. And that alone, the short interest in itself is just, you think about it and you're like, what is going on? When in Volkswagen, their short interest, I believe, rose to 14 to 16%. And how is it that we're supposedly at a 21% short interest when there is billions and billions of synthetics out there? And that's why I need my brother back in here, because I don't know that number. I just know there's billions. There's just a lot. There's a lot going in there. He's still trying. Sorry, just checked my phone. But
there's still tons of good information. That's still good info and good insight. Let me ask you, can you say out your Twitter handle for everybody so they can go check you out there, just so they can go type it in, as you said?
If you just find me under AMC Cheerleader, you'll find me. At my actual handle, it's at Ruby with 10 Ys and number 1. When I had my Twitter, it was meant for COVID. So I go way back on my Twitter, and it was pretty much just to keep up with COVID and the pandemic, when it was arousing in 2020. So then I changed it all and ended up using my new handle.
For sure.
His Wi-Fi is having trouble, actually.
What's that?
The Wi-Fi went out for some reason in the area, so kind of like the lights are out.
Yeah, it's all good.
Is there any way that he could join in with a hotspot?
Whatever connection you have. The link is the same.
He's gonna try that, so hopefully it works. I'm not sure if the connection could be any stronger, but
yeah, give it a try. You know what I mean? Give it a try. But we still got. I think we only have like two questions left. And also, anything that we don't cover today, people, anybody, viewers that's watching this, there's literally probably, I would say, 40% stuff that with her brother missing that we didn't cover. So we can do a part 2. Don't trip on that. But understand the information that you're getting. The information you're getting for today so far has been amazing. Yeah. We already gave you. I went live alone and gave you an hour earlier, and then
are we done with our time, or
no? We still have. I'm just telling them.
Okay.
This is what we call filler, so that we don't just sit here while your brother is But yeah, just let them know y'all getting a lot of good information. So please understand, have your pens and paper ready. I'm glad that's why following everybody on. Make sure you following everybody on Twitter. First and foremost, I need y'all to follow me on Twitter, because we're organizing everything there. I retweet all the good news I have. That's how I was able to find these 2 dope ass people. So before we continue on, I just want to let y'all know y'all definitely got to check out Twitter. It has a lot of stock news. Like, it's literally between YouTube, Discord, and Twitter, and obviously books and information. Those are the hubs where you can meet amazing people and actually build a community and meet young people talking about money. But Jesus is back here. So yeah, if you wanted to, there were some numbers, you kind of want to tap in on the AMC story and some of the numbers you wanted to share.
Sure. I haven't looked, since last weekend what the numbers are, but I'm pretty sure anyone who's been following the stock is aware that the short interest is at an all-time high right now. Utilization is at 100%. So what does that mean? What is utilization? Utilization is simply the amount of lendable shares that could be lent out Currently, that's at capacity right now, according to the latest data that we have from Ortex. And I guess another significant point is that days to cover, also known as the short interest ratio, is also rising. So when we had that run up, you might call it a gamma squeeze, call it whatever you want, the fake out squeeze back in June that took us from $20 to $70. Days to cover was high, and that is a function of the amount of volume versus the amount of total shares being shorted. So ideally, we would like to see that number continue to rise. And, the last time that I can think of that the short interest was this high was back before the June run up. We're currently sitting at around 21% of the free float being shorted. And that's significant. To put that into context, that means that approximately 1 in 5 shares is being held short. And that's ridiculously high. If you were to look at any other stock, for instance, like Apple or Microsoft, their short interest is below 1%. So, typically we would consider anything with the short interest above 10% high, anything with the short interest above 15% ludicrously high, and obviously anything above 20% is just ridiculous. And that's just the self-reported stuff, by the way. That's approximately, it's approximate, it's not exact. Anything that is self-reported is going to be bound to data discrepancies. Of course, the real number of actual shorts is probably much higher. That does not include shorts that are hidden in the stock through options, put options, or be it synthetics. If you buy into the narrative that shorts have printed thousands, potentially billions of synthetics, and yeah, that's not including that number. That's only counting the amount of reported shares that are reported. But yeah, it's very significant, 21%. So that's one of the things I'm looking at, and I'll be looking closely at that number going forward.
Dope. I asked your sister when you were having a bit of difficulty. Are there any things? Well, I guess it's a compound question. What are 2 things people you think that you talk to on a frequent basis are unaware of when it comes to stocks, crypto, or just about investing at all? Are there any things that stick out to your mind?
Yeah, I think that one thing that is sort of always lost is people tend to think of of stocks, like they see a line and they automatically assume they know everything about a company. If they just see a chart that's going up, people, they tend to buy it. It's psychology, and they bypass everything else. So I guess that's the biggest mistake that I guess beginners would make. Like, just looking at the price action for AMC the past 12 months or so, it has obviously not been good. Obviously, the past 3 months has been brutal, and that's sort of an understatement. So my thing would be, don't judge a stock by its most recent price action, because even some of the best stocks can see corrections, sort of like how we saw all of Kathy.
I think he froze.
I think he's about to say something about Kathy Wood, and y'all know how I feel about my Kathy.
Wood stocks.
Go back.
Okay.
Go back to Kathy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, go back to.
Sorry, Kathy. Kathy's. Kathy's flagship fund doing really, really 20, and that can carry on in 2020. So there are other factors at play other than just look, a stock chart. And for people who are barely getting into stocks, I think that's the biggest pitfall, just to look at a stock chart and then assume that history is going to continue carrying forward, and not always necessarily the case. There are other factors, like that investors, I think, should definitely pay attention to, and other headwinds.
Hell yeah, you touched on a good topic, because that was me. Especially, y'all know, if a lot of people who started following me, y'all know I started in on this channel talking about investing 2020, 2019 or something, and I was just going off of charts. Like, whatever I saw that I thought was good, with the exception of Neo, maybe, I was on it. I figured that would be the method, and it's just ignorance, as a new investor. So that is a key. A lot of y'all got to do your due diligence, and you know what I mean. You gotta. There is sentiment that goes into it. There is a lot of news that goes out, and there's no excuse for y'all not to know any news, because that really just means you're lazy. It's 2022. They out here cloning people, making robots, and doing all sorts of shit. You should be able to look up some stock information.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're going to live in a country, that's where the sentiment is built on the money, the whole stock market. It fluctuates because of how you feel, and that's where the money gains are. So don't be naive and educate yourself. Just like I did, I totally started educating myself towards this stock, and because of its numbers, it's like I genuinely believe that AMC will definitely prevail and that this will happen. Absolutely. There is no doubt in my mind that this is going to be the greatest shorts that has happened, known as the mother of all short squeezes. It's like we're all here for a reason. And I go back towards my whole speech. It's like there's just so many amazing ways that I can talk about it, but it's the numbers in the end. It's the numbers that don't lie. And right now, the media is just like, what's going on? Like, what is going on with AMC? Everybody wants to know. As to now, the series of events that has led to it. Recently we found out that there was a mysterious building that was being burned, right, Jesus, at the America Trade. And this building has a lot of important information. Jesus can explain that better than I can, but I want to go through a series of events that has reporters asking what is going on. Like, it is just, we're making noise. We are making rumble, and it is being heard. We're not just the apes, but it is so cool that now I can say this is where it's starting to get real. When you start hearing it out in the world, when other people that don't know start asking you, that's, for me, is like, wow, it's not just me looking at numbers anymore, but I can hear the noise now. The noise is coming.
Yeah, and you make a good point about the apes making noise. I mean, on any given day, you check Twitter or you check stock twits, and you'll find that AMC is the most active ticker by far. It's also trending almost every other day on Twitter. So, it's interesting to see that happen. The apes are making noise and they're being heard. And then to touch up on Ruby's other point about this burning building, I mean, it begs the question, right? And I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything, but like, why would all of a sudden a building that contains a lot of sensitive information about a lot of brokerage funds and their clients, like, and a lot of their trade histories, like, why would that go burning all of a sudden? And it's just interesting, the timing of the event, how it happened, and how it coincided with the departure of a certain individual from the United States. Like, he left. I can't say his name, Ruby, but you know who I'm talking about.
We go by Satan.
There are live streams where you can track his whereabouts. So yeah, you guys know who I'm talking about. And it's just interesting, it's just interesting to see how that happened, and how, all of a sudden this big news over the weekend came out that the Department of Justice is getting involved in launching probe against multiple firms on Wall Street. And they're going to be prosecuting under the RICO Act. And for those who are unaware, the RICO Act was established first to prosecute big criminals and organized crime like the mafia.
Yep.
And it's that kind of sweeping legislation and power that can actually give the Department of Justice the power that it needs to bring the individuals responsible that have been, doing all this sketchy stuff. When you hear of things like short ladder attacks, when you hear of things like dark pool abuse, and there are multiple parties involved. So it's kind of like a web, if you will, where you have the prime brokers that are involved, you have the brokerages themselves that are involved, you probably have the market makers that are in charge of executing orders involved, you also have the high frequency traders, the ones that purchase the order flow from the brokers that are probably involved in all of this stuff. So
it's getting real.
Just think about that for a second. I mean, this is now larger than us. It honestly has nothing to do with me or Ruby. We're just happy to be a part of this play. We're happy to be a part of history. Everything is unfolding, and I think
absolutely. Oh, he got shorted again. As soon as he gets to the good part, he just shorted.
Am I back on?
You need to go back.
All right. But yeah, it's
keep talking, bro. Keep talking through.
It's developing. Yeah, so it's the form that's occurring. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better setup, And if you're a technical trader, the stock has kind of went sideways for the better part of a year. What's that saying in technical analysis? It's the bigger the stem, the bigger the breakout, right? So I would like to see AMC stock continue to consolidate between the ranges that it's been in and continue to put in that higher short interest. I would like the short sellers get even conviction, so continue to bury themselves in an even deeper hole. And ideally, one of the things that I would love to see is for the days to cover to continue to rise, and for the short interest to go up even higher, potentially as high as 30%. And then I think it's really time to moon. But it's been interesting to see this entire saga play out. I've been here since GameStop, January of 2021 is when I first started covering these two stocks in particular. For those that are unaware, I actually run the official, unofficial Wall Street Bets on Facebook. So you can look it up on Facebook. Just put in Wall Street Bets. It's the one with 45,000 followers. And I've been covering these two stocks, following them very closely since I first heard GME rumors break out on Reddit. But the play remains buy and hold. It's very simple. That's what I like about this stock. You don't have to know a lot about the stock market. All you have to do is buy and hold. And we make no representations. We can't for certain say that something will happen, because obviously this is,
I'll say it for him. We're not your financial advisors. No way, shape, or form. We're just telling you some shit that we did, and we lead into the late. So if he seems he's unfrozen now, so I'll let him continue.
Not financial advice, obviously. It goes saying, do your own DD, do your own research, arrive at your own convictions. Borrow conviction. That's one of the worst things that you can do. And just dive yourself as much as I have into it. I mean, for the past year, I've become an expert in this company, and AMC in particular. I've delved into the financials. I can see why the short sellers were attacking.
Uh-oh, he got shorted again. Come on, come through. Anyways, guys, he's talking about dumb money. We are dumb money. That's why we buy
AMC so heavily. I can see that in the fundamental. All right, I'm back. Back on. Okay, so I hear you guys. Can you guys hear me? All right. I can't hear you guys, but I'm gonna continue for some weird reason. It just looks like it has cut off. But what this play boils down to is not the fundamentals of the company. So if you're looking inwards at companies, revenue, you're trying to model out, what the revenue going to look like for the next 3 years, 3 to 5 years, and you're not doing this play from the right angle. And that's where I think that the short sellers, where their inherent flaw is. So, I mean, this has always been a short play. It's always been about the technicals. That's the only thing that I pay attention to. So again, it's the days to cover ratio. What is the short interest ratio on any given day? What is the cost to borrow, the utilization rate? What is the actual short interest? And we know that these metrics are important. So yeah.
Can you do me a favor before you move on? Do me a favor. Say those key steps again, so that these are something that the listeners can take home with them. Say it again.
Say it again.
Yes. So
good.
Cost to borrow. That's significant. The utilization, the short interest ratio, and the actual short interest percent. But take the short interest percent is self-reported, and I mean, if I was a hedge fund, basically report that I want for. So if that makes the real probably we know much multiple. I would.
You won't have to say it again. You will have to say it over again. Say everything you said one more time.
That coming through.
It's choppy, but the more you talk, the more it becomes prevalent.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying was that there's one thing that I would want listeners to just take away from all of this is that you need to arrive at your own conviction, do your DD, and don't borrow someone else's conviction. Actually know what you're inventing. That it's not about it's about the technicals. Study the technicals, and I would highly recommend who doesn't have a subscription to Ortex to probably get a subscription to Ortex and get involved on Twitter, like Sashi was saying. And if you're not on social nowadays, I really don't know what you're doing with your time, because the most valuable information is coming out of places like Reddit. It's coming out of places like Discord and Twitter. And just get involved in the community. Start speaking with knowledgeable members of the community. There are plenty of others. And if you can reach out to me, I'm an open book, and I'm happy to share anything that I've covered along the way. But ultimately, the most important thing that you can do as an AMC investor is buy and hold, know your number, and don't let anyone tell you what you can and cannot sell at. There's been a really prominent member in the AMC community that has recently came out and shilled really low price targets of around $800 to $1,000. And I'm not going to name that individual by name, but that's personally not what I believe in. And I know that that's definitely against what a lot of apes are for as well. But I would just say formulate your own exit strategy and know your price target and know your number and remember why you're in this play. And for some people, that reason is really intrinsic and personal to them. For other people, it's because they want to promote market transparency and get rid of corruption. And I think all of those things are important. And if anything, if the squeeze doesn't happen, and I use that term very very loosely, the word if, because I'm of the conviction that it will happen, the one thing that I would like to see the apes accomplish is to provide a more fair, more transparent market for future generations to come. That way, I can play in a market that's not rigged against me. I think that everyone should sort of start out at the same point in the in the game. So, if you will, like, just imagine a chess game where one player has this
Uh-oh, he got shorted again.
And I also want to let everybody know we was talking about Kathy Woods earlier. Y'all know, if you've been down with the day one from my channel, y'all know how we feel about Kathy, and y'all know that Teladoc, it just hit my line that Teladoc is the #1 trending stock on StockWits. It is, and I don't know if it's on FinTech as well, but that is something to keep in mind. And y'all know Kathy's position in Teladoc. You can look at the ARK Invest portfolio. But I think, yeah, Jesus is unfrozen. So, yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah. My opinion on Kathy Wood is she's a phenomenal capital. I think that she's probably one of the best. Am I back on?
You're back.
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying phenomenal. I would honor with Lynch. I thought a little crazy to somebody, but there's it's ridiculous. I mean, if I see another space that's like short K or short, I'm just gonna buy more ARK for the. Be interesting to see how these stocks perform. Mother of all short squeezes does actually, get started, because we know that a lot of Kathy's underlying holdings are also heavily shorted as well, with short interests of 10%. And, it's called the mother of all short squeezes for a reason, because everything squeezes together. That's my belief, that anything with the short interest above 10% is going to be going up, because you're going to have hedge funds that are getting margin called on their other bets. And right now, with the market being down so much, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those hedge funds are bleeding significantly against their positions, and are probably at the margin of getting some kind of margin call. So it's not difficult to imagine a scenario where Kathy's stocks also start squeezing at the same time. But ultimately it comes down to this. Ultimately it comes down to where is the world headed, and we know that innovation is coming. So if you're not for it, then you're ultimately going to go extinct. And I think that a lot of investors are just sort of pricing in near-term concerns with inflation, and they're overlooking the actual opportunities within Kathy's portfolio, because some of those companies are real businesses with real growth catalysts that will continue to compound for years to come, and provide the outsized amount of gains for the next 10-20 years. I mean, if we're talking Tesla, then I see Tesla becoming a $10 trillion company. So where that stock is currently trading right now, that's 10 times probably higher than where it is right now. So I would say continue to pay attention to Kathy Wood, and filter out all of her haters, because that's ultimately what they are. She's had a rough year, but ultimately that performance will come back, and the names speak for themselves. I mean, just take a look at Kathy's portfolio. Teladoc is a fantastic business with plenty of growth ahead of it. So is Zoom, and so is Tesla, Spotify, Roku. I know she's big in, and it's going to be hard to make a long-term bet against those businesses. You can make a short-term bet, just like you can bet against AMC and GameStop in the short term, which, by the way, is incredibly risky. And I brought this up on Twitter the other day. Putting your investors, say you're running a hedge fund, and putting your investors in that position is incredibly risky for them, because you are basically putting their funds at risk. And these sorts of plays have the potential of wiping out your entire firm. So you're putting your entire firm in jeopardy, and every other firm in town, by the way, can also get wiped out by these two stocks. So it's just interesting to see how it's going to play out. A lot of people are of the belief that the AMC GME squeeze will happen only after a big market crash occurs. Other people are of the belief that the AMC GME squeeze is going to cause a market crash. I'm of the belief that either one of the things is going to happen, but the catalyst is certainly there. And at this point, it's just a waiting game. And I think that large institutions like BlackRock and Vanguard know this. I mean, it just came out on the news that the largest
I think he froze again. Yeah, he froze again.
While he's coming in, is he come? Oh, while he's coming in, Kathy Wood, y'all got to remember her portfolio. She's already managed, a $5 billion portfolio before, and this is while she was debating the direction that the firm went in while being a woman at the helm. So just like keep this shit in perspective. Like, she's a beast out here. Like, you can look at, you can pull up any of her funds, all of the ARK Invest. You can see every business they're invested in and the performance as well. Like, look up her past, and I think it'll speak for itself, especially when you compare her to her counterparts of like what universities or methods her counterparts and males took to get to the same avenues. Yeah. But go ahead, bro. You back now. Go ahead.
Yeah. And to your point, yeah, Kathy's methods are incredibly different from the traditional investment world in that they don't segregate their analysts by industry. Whenever Kathy is performing research, her research is done on an open basis, which, by the way, she shares to her community on Twitter. And that's developed its own little sub community in of itself. There are websites that literally track, Kathy Wood's plays and what she's bought and sold at the end of every day. But yeah, she's a phenomenal capital allocator. You mentioned that she managed $5 billion. Was that at her peak? Seshi?
Say it again. My bad, bro. Say it again.
Was the $5 billion at her peak?
Yeah, before she started ARK. Right before she started ARK.
Oh, before she started ARK. Okay, yeah. But yeah, ultimately, I continue to be bullish on the innovation sector. I think that innovation is being grossly misunderpriced right now, in favor of, safer assets, because let's face it, right now investors are sort of in a risk off sort of mentality because of everything that's happened. I mean, first we had Omicron, then we had interest rates, then we had inflation, and now we have potential fears of World War III.
Oh, right. There's so much going on towards the actual economy, inflation, oil at 88 as well.
We see things like gold moving up, and things like and I use this safe dividend stuff, stocks that are with the traditional world order, which we is at the risk of disintermediation and disrupt. So risk being thrown around itself, you know what I mean? How are you categorizing that? Like, a lot of investors are this level again at those companies and saying, well, just because they're profiting and generating free cash flow right now, that doesn't mean it will be generating free cash flow 10 years, 15 years.
I think the connection got
into the future. I mean, what sort of future would you envision for a company? What sort of future would you imagine for Exxon, which is old world sector? I think electrification take off recently. Things railroad companies are, because think about that's occurring in the autonomous driving space and how eventually, we're things like a Tesla truck, which will drive itself full on electricity, by the way. And a lot of
and for everybody out here while he's loading back in, y'all got to remember that these Kathy Wood's, all of her investments are public. I've shown them in videos in the past. You can go to the ARK website and look at their actual portfolios. They have the energy one, the ETF one, etc. They're all publicly listed. So that is another benefit that Kathy provides, like actual public display of where she's headed long term. But go ahead, bro.
Correct. Yeah. And I was picking up on retail, right? The idea that traditional and mortar retail is going up, and how e-commerce platforms like Shopify Amazon have disrupted that, and I think the trend is going to continue. Same thing with subscription. So people are cutting, their cables at, alarming rates, and ultimately it's going to things like Spotify and Roku continue to win out in the future. So I think that it's really foolish to bet against ARK. There's actually an ETF called SARK, short ARK, where you can short against Kathy. And to tie it back into AMC and GME, it's going to be interesting to see how all of her individual stocks perform during the short squeeze. It keeps cutting. Oh, you guys can hear me.
We hear you, but it was lagging a bit.
Right. That basically concludes is on Kathy Wood. So ultimately, I'm still bullish. I would at these levels. It's ridiculous. The RK fund trading $63 this morning. So is that a real to you? Like, ask yourself that. He's lost. A lot of these companies are down in 60 to 70% year over year. Have those companies 70% of their earning capacity or 70% of their customers within the span of a year? The answer is a resounding no. It should be a resounding no. So a lot of these businesses are fantastic buys at this price, and I think that when the market moves away from this risk-off sort of mentality, that a lot of those plays will come roaring back. And, no matter how you spin it, AMC, GME, Kathy, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that stuff is risk on. So it will continue to, unfortunately, get hit as long as the market continues to have these headwinds. But, I sort of view it as an opportunity in disguise. You know what I mean? So you have the opportunity right now to purchase some fantastic companies at great prices. And I love AMC, GME, and Kathy's funds. You know what I mean? So I'm all for it.
Yep.
That's where we're about to final this up. That we're approaching an hour and a half. This is great information. Y'all see right here on the screen, I have popped up the portfolio. This is one of the main portfolios. You can see what the top 10 holdings are for yourself. Again, this is all public information. Tesla, you'll see some familiar things on here, and Teladoc being the second biggest position. So a lot of seen somebody in here, I think it was Sadia, that says, yeah, there's a lot of haters, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, people don't mention a lot of things. Warren Buffett underperformed the S&P, I think 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So it is what it is. And I wanted to know, before we get out of here, both of you, I wanted to know, are either of you on tip ranks or like a publicly traded app that we could see kind of what you're doing and what your portfolio looks like? I don't know if you heard of tip ranks, but that's what we use here.
No, but I'm going to make a public portfolio.
Hey, my brother will make it for me.
I will have that published eventually here. So
I know tip ranks might be a fire for you too.
Public allows you to share your positions, but if you're interested in knowing like my allocation, my positions, about a year ago I actually made a video on YouTube. If you just put in the search term my name, Jesus Gonzalez, Robinhood portfolio, you'll see that the first result is there, and I actually go into a breakdown of what my holdings are, and honestly they haven't changed all that much since the past year. So what I'm holding there in that video is pretty much the same thing that I'm holding now a year and a half later. Like, my positions change seldom. I'm not one of those people that just trades in and out of names and changes their allocation up very frequently. Like, what I own is what I own. I love it, and I would hold it forever. Like Warren Buffett says, if you're not willing to own a stock for a lifetime, then you probably shouldn't buy it. If the market's closed and all of a sudden you couldn't sell it in 10 years, then you should be perfectly okay with holding whatever it is that you're holding in your portfolio. So that I sort of apply that same philosophy towards my investment. And anything that I hold in my portfolio is the long-term play in there. So I don't have a public portfolio or anything like that, but if people want to see what I'm holding, then they could totally just YouTube that video and see my positions, they're pretty much the same since when I made that video.
And Ruby, how about yourself? Do you plan to make like a tip rank, some sort of public portfolio where people can see what holdings you have in your performance?
All she has is AMC. Honestly, that's
yeah, sure. How about I just write it down for you rather than give you a link? AMC
3 little letters.
I think the difference. The difference is public is like it just shows you what you got. When you have tip ranks, it shows you what your average cost is, how you're performing. So if AMC is tanking and your average cost was 27, it's not going to look like you're doing so hot. But the people that follow you can see what else you're invested in, and how your overall portfolio is performing. We know I tell the people every day what stocks I have, but they want to see what you have, how long you've had it,
like the actual like I guess the volatility of my own stocks, right?
Yeah, like what? So if like there's millions of people. We all talk to thousands of people. We're blessed at this point. So there's people some people are 50 and they're like, yo, I just started investing. I want to get X, Y, and Z, but they don't know like when you started investing in.
Yeah, that makes sense. More like the history of how the actual stock works with a more personalized on a person. That makes sense. Yeah, we can definitely do something like that, and that way it could bring more awareness up as to how AMC and GME moves, because they are very volatile stocks. There's days that they have 1 million shares going on, and then there's days that they barely move. But yeah, that's a cool thing, a cool concept that we can actually show that in a portfolio.
Hell yeah,
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off the camera too. It's really simple to set up, and it's super dope way to kind of like, like even for me, I hold myself accountable just because like if I'm performing poorly, I then see what are the other top 100 journalists, analysts, investors, how they're performing. You can see the hedge funds positions and other stocks that they're in, and kind of how their portfolios moving. You know what I mean? Because you're more well versed than us. We had to independently learn. I took some economics courses in college, but if you are an actual finance major, so everybody doesn't have this, that luxury of being maybe that well versed in it. So having some reference points of people who've made money and are invested in shit, majority of the wealth in the country is definitely, it definitely works.
I agree. So like, what good is all this knowledge if it's just kept to myself,
Mm-hmm.
But I would be open to the idea of doing a public or something like that. So maybe you can walk me through that off camera.
I got you, bro. I got you. And I definitely got to thank both of y'all for spending this time and chopping it up, talking to the audience. So, at the end of the day, AMC, as you see in the fire in their eyes and in their voices, AMC is more than alive. It's super woke. It came out of the chamber like Wolverine. You feel me? Like it's ready to go.
Oh God, it's ready to rip. We have already won. The money is in the bags, guys. I want to close off because I know we got to go, but the money's in the bag. The apes have won. So know that share price, know it's fake, and know that graph that we saw today going down, hell no. You just grab your phone, tilt it to the other way, and be like, hell yeah, it's going up. That's the real prize, you guys. Do not let the psychology of the hedge funds mess with your head, because they are Satans. They're demons. They know what they're doing. They're trying to mess with your head. They want to get in there and they want to say, no, it's going to be worth $5. So don't believe that. So if all you got to do is turn your phone upside down to see the actual price, then so be it. That's my advice to all of you who maybe are losing faith, because I get it. It's money, Money doesn't grow on trees. We work hard for our money. So know, guys, that we have won. And investigations are out there. Department of Justice is looking into it. We got Gary Gensler finally opened his eyes. Hell yeah, we did that, Abe. And we got the freaking Security Commissions of Exchange looking into this. Like, this is fucking amazing. Our noise is being valid. So, like, if you all want to be...
They want to know also where you got that t-shirt from. They want to know where you got your shirt from. They've been asking all chat.
So I haven't really talked about much my shirt because it's logos, and I don't know how bad I could get in trouble with trying to trademark stuff. But I made these. I have a great friend who I work with, and I designed the actual layout of the shirts. Over here, actually on the sleeve, we have it say AMC Theaters, and then I wish you could see the back. If you can kind of briefly see that. It has the stock market going up, and it has a couple hashtags on there. Ken Griffin lied. Definitely added that one in there. As far as going AMC to the moon, AMC strong, apes, hashtag apes Latinos taking over, because a lot when I got into the actual Twitter was to involve the Latino community, to involve Hispanics. A lot of us believe like the stock market is only worth for the rich. Fuck no. I'm Hispanic, and my brother's Hispanic. We're not from the 1%. That's why for me, involving Hispanic community and Latinos was so important, because it is such an easy ass play that anybody can do it. It's called dumb money for a reason. So let's get all the dumb money we can get. Let's get all the apes that we can get, all my Spanish speaking Latinos in, all my people in Mexico who are struggling. You know, anybody who is here in the United States, we all have a difference to make it better in the world. And here is the opportunity. One of the reasons that I feel like I was brought into this life. You know, things don't come into my life they come into my life because they're meant to be. So us being aware of the New York Times, my brother and I, we are preaching it loud and clear today with you, Session. I don't know how you found me. Honestly, things are just coming, and I am proud to keep pushing that out there and to keep letting everybody know that we have already won, and the money's in the bag. And the more that people know, the more that people get in, the better. Because that's why we're here, you know, to end that and to benefit and to financially be wealthy one day, where we can actually take a break if we wanted to. And that's exactly my whole narrative of why I'm proud to be part of the ape community. And I am proud to come and tell everybody what I believe in and my brother. And so I really thank you, Session, for this opportunity.
Hell yeah! I don't need to say any more words, man. I don't need to say any more words. They gave me the the grand finale. It's amazing. You got to understand energy. Likewise, energy attracts energy. So it don't matter where you are in this world. Get the fuck up. Get to it. If you don't know some shit today, you can know it by tomorrow. It's 2022. It don't matter what color you are, what gender you are. Get to it. I love each and every one of you. Like the channel. Subscribe to all of our shit. Until next time, stay lit, stay awesome, stay healthy. You did.